Hey, good morning, all. All right, so here's our final assignment for the quarter, and it's kind of a big one because today you're going to start the process of selecting and supporting your own grade. All right. Um, I'm not sure how many of you remember, but back in September, there's a rhyme. I indicated to you that your grade won't exist in this class until the end of the term. Okay, and then I tried to continue to communicate that to you over the course of the weeks that followed from there, reminding you that your grade in Skyward is not your grade. Yes, there is a percentage in there. Yes, there's a letter grade, but that's only because it has to be there. Skyward is just a recording tool and a reporting tool for me. All right. So, all that being said, starting today, you're going to have an opportunity to, in a narrative letter to me, to select and support your final grade. All right. And ultimately, it gets to we, but it first has to start with you, and that's the letter that you're going to write to me. All right. As far as our agreeing in the end, okay. As I wrote in this is not a place that I've reserved for myself or power. Okay. I'm not going to say you have a voice, and then I'm not going to and then just to come to overrule you in the end. All right. So the goal is for us to agree. Okay. And so with that, I think two things we have to consider there. I have a professional responsibility to make sure that whatever you're selecting, you can provide support for that. So if you're going to select an A, kiddos, you have to be able to provide sufficient evidence that I see as well as you that really reflects that you have earned an A in this class. All right. Um, and if it does not, that doesn't mean the conversation's over. Meaning, if I don't see what you see, that doesn't mean the conversation's over. All right. Because I also believe I have a personal responsibility to you as your teacher and your guide in this journey, if you will, to give you additional opportunities, if necessary, to demonstrate your learning. All right. So if there's a point where you and I don't agree on, like I don't think you've demonstrated to me that you can use CCC very well, then you can request another opportunity to demonstrate that to me. All right. And then that ends when you decide that ends. All right. So to cut to the chase, guys, the goal is to agree with you. All right. I reserve the right to upgrade you. All right. I suspect some of you are probably going to be harder on yourselves than you need to be. And if I find myself in disagreement, I reserve the right to just veto your low grade and upgrade you. All right. We don't get to wrestle about that. I will make a final decision on that. It's if I decide that your grade is going to go lower, where you and I will have a conversation until we come to an agreement. Okay. So all that being said, you have four selections for grades, okay? A, B, C, or D. You may also use pluses. You may also use minuses. You decide, okay? And then here are the requirements for your letter. Your letter must include the following, okay? You have to have an introduction, kiddos, all right? And I need you to apply what we have recently learned about introductions. I need you to use a narrative hook to make a first impression, okay? I'm also going to attach the hook type resource that we've been using in case you've forgotten how to find that or navigate through that. And then you're also going to provide context, okay, that establishes your general learning experience in my class so far this quarter. And then finally, your introduction is going to end with a thesis statement that identifies your selected grade. So in your introduction, I should know before I go into reading the body of your letter what grade you have selected, because in the body, you're going to present your evidence. In your body, I expect there to be at least 3 paragraphs, all right? There will be a paragraph that provides evidence from Skyward. There will be a paragraph that presents evidence from Google Classroom. And this is the reason for that, all right? You already know that everything that we do in Google Classroom does not make it to Skyward, okay? And that doesn't mean that it doesn't matter, all right? And so there are things that are recorded in Google Classroom, things that you and I know about, things that you can bring to my attention if you feel like it's going to help your case for your grade. So please feel welcomed to do that, all right? And then finally, the last paragraph needs to just be from your general experience, okay? This is pretty much wide open. I gave some suggestions there, but let's not pretend that we're not in a pandemic. Let's not pretend that things aren't difficult. Let's not pretend that I know each and every situation out there. And so that's an opportunity for you to bring to light, to bring to my attention things maybe that I don't know about, okay? That have either impacted your learning or things that you want to make sure that I do remember in terms of what you have done, responding to feedback, other things. And so really it's your paragraph beyond Classroom, beyond Skyward, to do what you think is necessary to help me see what you see in terms of your grade. Okay. Finally, you need a conclusion. All right. Please use your rehook. All right. Remember, hooks aren't hooks, I don't believe, if you don't rehook in the end. All right. We have to bring it back full circle. So if you use a three-peat for a narrative hook, I expect to see some kind of three-peat for your rehook. All right. At the very least, as we just learned recently, go back to the big idea that you presented in your hook. Okay. It doesn't mean it's the exact type. It doesn't mean that you repeat your quote. All right, but you address the big ideas in your quote. If you need help with that, reach out. All right. And then please make a final impression with a final insight about your learning experience. Okay. What do you want me to leave thinking? All right, about when I'm done with your letter. That's what I want you to think about there. A couple other small requirements. One, use 2 examples of parentheses somewhere. Okay. And as you see that there are colors here, I want your narrative hook in yellow. I want your context and your introduction in green. I want your thesis statement in blue. I want your rehook in yellow, and then your examples of parentheses in purple. Okay. And then, as we just did recently with our do draft, I think that when you're turning stuff like this in, guys, you have to at least proofread to the point where you have no blue or red squiggly signal lines from Google Docs saying, "Hey, there's a problem here." All right, please fix those problems before you turn that in. Please write your letter on the next page in the space right here, beginning with "Dear Cy," and then please sign your letter at the end, "Sincerely, out of here, peace," whatever, and your name. Okay. So hopefully that helps you get through this. If you need help, please reach out. This will be due on Friday, but if you could get it to me sooner, and I know some of you are waiting on some evidence, all right, and so some of you may have to wait a little longer if necessary. If you need more clarification or help, please reach out. I've probably talked a little long on this walkthrough. All right, laters.